mouse mensch. Who could take a motherfucker like that seriously? Flying mouse man. Jesus Christ. Who's going to believe in that? But I had a mystical experience, honest to God. There was a young fellow from the DDR, Deutsche Demokratische Republic, otherwise known over here as East Germany. He'd gotten out a year ago, snuck out, and he had a copy of my novel, Illuminatus, which had quite a story. He got this out of a sealed library in Leipzig. This is a library that is not open to the public. Now, this is sort of the quintessence of the totalitarian mind. They build a library and then they lock it so nobody can get in. Apparently, top party officials could consult that library, but nobody else could. Well, my friend had a friend who found a way to get into the library by breaking a window in the back, and the two of them got in and they stole all the books that looked good to them, and then ran like hell. Totalitarianism always looks like a parody of itself. The East German customs officials are the only ones on the surface of the earth that have eyes more paranoid than Texas Rangers. They all look like a speed freak who's just got another reason to suspect you of something. You know, if you've ever come up from Mexico and you come through Laredo and the Texas Rangers start taking your luggage apart and shaking out your underwear and looking through your socks and everything, after the first 15 minutes you start to think you got dope in the car. You know damn well, at least if you're me, if you're like I am, you know damn well you didn't bring any dope with you. You're not such an idiot you're going to try to carry dope across customs. You leave that to younger people who have bravery and cojones and stupidity and do all the smuggling for us old farts who just buy the stuff and smoke it. But you don't carry it across customs yourself. But after 15 minutes of being stared at by Texas Rangers who are going through your underwear and opening your books to see if you got something hidden in your books, you begin to think there's dope in the car somewhere. Some son of a bitch hid dope in my car just so I get arrested. I'm going to spend 20 years in a fucking Texas jail because somebody planted dope in my car. And when they don't find any dope, you're surprised. You feel grateful. You want to say a prayer. Well, it's like that in East Germany. The customs people come on the train. They look at your passport. They go out. They take your passport. They disappear. They confer with one another. You wonder what the hell is going on, and after a while you're convinced you're a CIA agent. You know, the CIA has a word for people who are working for them and don't know it. This is true. If you're working for an intelligence agency and you don't know it, they call you a useful idiot. This is the slang of the expression. The KGB uses it too. A useful idiot is somebody... Well, like for instance, if you're living in Montreal and you're interested in Quebec Libre, French separatism, and so on, you're not going to go to work for the CIA. But if somebody approaches you and says, I'm from Quebec Libre, could you do a few small jobs for us? Nothing violent, just a little knowledge we want you to gather. You're a loyal French separatist, you do it. Only this guy isn't working for French separatism at all. He's working for the CIA, but you don't know that, so you're a useful idiot. Or you're Jewish, and somebody comes up and says, I'm from the Israeli Secret Service. We got a little favor we'd like you to do for us while you're in Denmark. Well, if you're the kind of a Jewish person who supports Israel, yeah, I'd love to do something for Israel. So you're working for the KGB and you don't know it. You're a useful idiot. The world these days is full of useful idiots. It's much easier to recruit people for causes they believe in than to get them to work for causes they don't believe in. And forging credentials is the easiest thing in the world. And so it's a very useful exercise, especially if you ever listen to the Mae Brussel radio show. It's being continued by her disciples, where they're exposing conspiracies all the time. While you're worried about who's plotting against you, stop and worry who you're plotting against. Ask yourself, have I become a useful idiot yet? There's another kind of useful idiot. That's somebody who receives leaks from high sources, and they think it's the truth, and they publish it. Actually, the damn thing was a lie. They're being used as a useful idiot, too. Anyway, you can't go through the DDR without starting to suspect that you're a CIA agent, whether you know it or not. And there I am in Berlin, where everybody's raving about Batman, and it's just like San Francisco. And this fellow comes up to me with a copy of Illuminatus and tells me how he stole it from this sealed library in Leipzig, where only high Communist Party officials were allowed to see it. And I'm thinking, this is fantastic. Somebody, probably not a group, one individual, somebody in the East German government, maybe Honecker himself, the guy who resigned, you know, he fell just before the wall. Maybe Honecker read Illuminatus and liked it and said, we can't burn this, but we can't let the common people read it. We'll have a revolution. They'll be marching in the streets. The goddamn wall will come down. Who knows what'll happen? So we'll put it in this library, and we'll lock the library so nobody can get it. And I'm thinking, imagine that somebody high in the communist, somebody decided they wanted to preserve this book. And this guy stole it, and here he is sitting across the table from me in a Berlin bar, and he wants me to autograph it. So I opened the book, and what's stamped inside the front cover? Rajneesh International Library. Honest to God, I'm not putting you on. So there I am. I'm autographing this book, and I'm thinking, did this come from the ashram in Oregon? Or did it come from the earlier ashram in Pune, India? I knew a lot of people back in the early 70s who were Rajneeshis and went over to India. He had a big ashram there before he ever came to Oregon and got into all that trouble. And so I don't know whether it came from Oregon or from India, but at some point Rajneesh had a copy of Illuminatus. And he had it stamped, Rajneesh International Library. You know, Rajneesh was he was totally detached from ego, a totally ascended master. So everything he got his hands on, he put a stamp on saying it was his. They used to have these chaotic sex sessions up there. Everybody was blindfolded and groped for everybody else. And I have it on good authority that occasionally Rajneesh would sneak in a donkey. He had a weird sense of humor. Most people wonder why Rajneesh collected 93 Rolls Royces, because he never left the ashram after he moved up to Oregon. He never left the ashram. He just traveled around that small couple of acres there of that ashram. Why do you need 93 Rolls Royces to travel around one small ashram? Well, actually, when Rajneesh was young, he was poor. He was a poor boy in India with ambitions, and he read about Krishnamurti. And Krishnamurti was the first Oriental to come over here and discover that the Western world was full of seekers. And Krishnamurti made enough money out of the seekers that he bought a Rolls Royce. And Rajneesh read about that. Here's one of my countrymen riding around the United States in a Rolls Royce like a capitalist. So Rajneesh got this ambition, if he can do it, I can do it. It's obvious in the United States there's a seeker born every minute. So, rat shit, bat shit, desperate quail. No, I'll control it. Honest to God, I'll control it. So every time Rajneesh got a new Rolls Royce, he'd take a Polaroid photo of it, and then he'd write on the back, fuck you, and mail it to Krishnamurti. I'm a great admirer of Rajneesh, as you can see.